Oh, for
Don't
sure.
they?
I mean, I think that's
Have you
isn't that
watched
all sports
Free?
anime. I have seen that one, and Yuri on Ice. Speaking of this panel,
Speaking of this panel, things we will be talking about.
I can't open my notes.
Oh, Corey got positive.
of course he did.
Don't Don't say it
Big
loud.
Corey got negative.
Did he?
Ha.
Well, Corey posted, and then he posted the other one.
Oh.
I'm not surprised. He's the most susceptible.
Fair. Entirely.
I'm so annoyed that I can't open my notes. Why? Just like as if the snow has always remained. Okay, sorry.
I don't know what that song.
That was from Given.
Oh,
Well, my
okay.
translation of it, but
No, we earlier were going. We are finding parking.
We were unsuccessful.
Oh, what's the song I always sing sometimes when I'm dead? I can't remember it now. Oh, that would have been funny.
I haven't even watched Naruto, but I do know that song.
We are fighting. I know that one pretty well, yeah. Is there karaoke here? I'd be dying to do some karaoke. Tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
Maybe you'll see me there.
I'll meet you.
These are Finding Dreamers.
Fighting parking.
Gotta make a whole parody of it. I'll write
All
the
right,
parody
it's
for me.
1:30. We might as well start.
Hooray!
We will start now.
All right, welcome to the LGBT panel in anime. Woo! Hey, Steph, you're just in time. What's up? You can join us if you want. We can always use more representative. Though that makes more aces. Are you just ace, or what's your rep?
Hand romantic, sex repulsed, asexual.
Okay, come on up then. Why not?
Preach.
Hell yeah!
We do have one more friend, Nia Celeste, who's a cosplayer and actor. She's running a little late, so they are running a little late. So, yeah, they will be at the corner, but I let them know they could just
side if you want.
rush in. So,
There's
yeah,
more microphones on this
yeah,
side if you want.
hop on over there. But yes, oh yes, oh you're bringing water. Thank you so much. Okay.
Here, in case your thing runs out, there you go.
Oh, thank you so much.
So hi. So yeah, this is a panel with just a bunch of voice actors. Most of us are at Crunchyroll, discussing about different representation for LGBT in anime, and kind of talking about how we kind of discovered ourselves through the media and stuff like that. So I guess first we'll introduce ourselves and then kind of discuss different shows that we like to recommend, or just what we feel like is a good fit for stuff like that. So.
Of course.
So yeah, I'll start with me. My name is Corinne Sudberg. I am demisexual. I actually learned more about this not from anime, but from anybody seen BoJack Horseman?
Oh, boy. Yeah, this
Funny-
is the BoJack Horseman panel.
So
now.
funny enough, I was in a relationship at a time with now my husband, who, if you want to meet, he's at my booth actually. And I was questioning a lot of things because I loved him, but in a sense I didn't love him in another way. And I was just kind of very confused about it, and I didn't really know any answers for it, and the phone's vibrating. And basically we were watching BoJack, and we got to the episode where Todd kind of gets questioned by also a partner like that. And then when he was kind of going like, I don't know what I am, and I'm just kind of like, wait, that's like me. Oh, this is a thing? Oh, wow. And I actually was freaked out, and then I just kind of started to cry because I was just like, oh, there is an answer for me. I am not weird. So that's kind of what got me into looking more into asexuality, and then finding the different, I guess, the different sections, or what are the umbrella terms for different categories of them. So gray and arrow and demi. And I definitely feel like, especially being with my husband, definitely fit in the demi route because we have more of a sense of a romantic kind of soul-searching bond. So, and I feel like I can't be anywhere without him, and I love him from the bottom of my heart. So, I show that love in different ways. So, yeah, that's how I kind of found myself. What about you, Marianne?
Hi, my name is Marianne Bray. I am also under the ACE umbrella.
Woo.
We're taking over.
Yes. At first we were going to
turn
make
now.
this an ACE panel, but then I was like, no, we want to kind of just make it open to other different reps and
Now
stuff.
I'm here.
But
Get out of here, Josh.
Sorry. I'll leave.
I did not watch BoJack Horseman, so I did not find out that way.
Fantastic show.
I thought I was normal, whatever that means. Ha ha ha. I never thought I was normal. In that respect, I thought I was normal. And then, I have entered my first relationship, and it was my ex-husband, but that's another story. And we were trying to. Things were good and then they weren't good, and then I was trying to figure out why, and we kept trying to fix the problem. And then at some point, there was an asexual awareness week, and somebody posted a video, and I saw the video, and I was like, wait, look at this, I think that's me. And he was like, oh damn, okay, cool. And I was like, that is cool, it's cool. So I consider myself a gray ace and probably also demi, I don't know. I'm still figuring
I will say
out.
Marianne has been a tremendous help with also helping me discover kind of the terms, because when I was slowly learning, I was like, I think I'm ace, and they're just like, but yeah, which ace? And it's like, oh, there's categories there's a lot.
Not that it necessarily matters. I usually just say, yeah, I'm asexual, because I already have to explain that to a lot of people, because a lot of people are like, what does that mean?
Well,
Are
yeah,
you
it
a
gets too
plant?
complicated, doesn't it? There's always so
Right.
many. Yeah.
So it's usually just I start there and then I explain. And of course it's different for every person experiences things differently. But that's kind of how I figured it out. It was an actual hey, this is why it's the representation is important. Having things in media or even just informative videos are very helpful, because then you know, you can go, hey, that sounds really familiar. And you don't have to put a label to it if you don't want to.
Right. Yeah.
But
which I think we'll talk about a bit more with
Yeah.
the shows and stuff too.
but it
so,
can be
yeah.
it can be helpful.
It can be helpful. Yeah.
But yeah.
Next.
Hello. My name is Joshua Waters. I am non-binary and gay. And I sort of found myself, I grew up in a very rural farm town in Ohio, in the middle of nowhere. So things like that weren't very readily accessible to me. It was very much, I had to go and seek these things out for myself a lot of the time. And one of the first shows that really resonated with me in that way, which we will be talking about almost assuredly, is Yuri on Ice.
Yes.
Which I watched every time it came out. I was making sure to keep up on all of these. I was feeling and seeing things that I had never thought possible before. It was such a beautiful romance, all told through things like music and through the skating. It was really magical to me. And if I open my phone right now, from when it was coming out, there are so many pictures on my phone of just I just think they're cute, I like them. So those are still on there from way long ago. And being able to access that kind of representation is a big part of it, and something I wouldn't have been able to come to terms with or be able to figure myself out with and find my own identity where I belong without. So I feel like that's something that we really want to discuss a lot and push as much as we can. Recently we've been seeing so much fantastic
A
representation.
big boom with
Big
stuff like
boom.
that. Yes.
And that just makes me really happy to see, makes my heart very happy. Hopefully we can get even more and more.
It's looking in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I cannot wait to see what is next.
Steph?
Hi. I don't need a microphone.
I'll move mine.
If you want it to be twice as loud. Hello, I am Stephanie Sakovich, and I grew up in a Catholic household.
Oh, I thought you were going to
Impressive.
stop at just cat.
Cat house.
House.
We were like a cat house? Sorry.
I was raised by
Totally.
cats. Sorry.
I'm not that feral. So when I started, going through the feminine throes of being a teenager and stuff, all my friends would be like, "Oh my God, that guy's so hot. I would take him to bed with me." And I'm like, "Okay." And I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any urges or desires to do anything. And later on, somewhere in my late teens, I asked my aunt, who's my mother's sister, who is also Catholic, about it. Like, I don't feel anything. And she said, oh, you just haven't found the right person yet. No, I love that aunt dearly, but anyway. So I told my brother about it when he came out to me as gay. And he said, okay, what are you, asexual? And I said, yeah, you know what? And then we joked about, I'm just going to self-reproduce mitosis and spawn something.
Wait,
my
you're
body spores.
you're a fellow asexual with a gay brother?
My little sister is lesbian.
Oh,
My
hell yeah.
brother is still in the closet, but out to us, out to us siblings as gay. I am asexual. Turns out my twin sister, who looks nothing like me and acts nothing like me, I mean, for example, she's in the Marines, she is married to a Navy guy. But I just learned from my little sister that she is bisexual.
Oh.
And we can't tell our mom because she will have
Oh
an
my God, what a
aneurysm.
story.
That's a story.
You should just
However-
bombard her all at once.
We're getting the tea.
My little sister has come out to the parents, and she does currently have a girlfriend that she loves very much. And mother seems to tolerate her and be pleasant around
Live
her.
on
but I don't know her
NBC, we
internal
can't tell
workings.
mom. Oh my God.
We, the rest of us, and she knows I don't want sex or grandchildren, even though she really wants at least one grandchild from somebody. And I'm like, you're not going
I
to
will
get
say, I
it from
still haven't
us.
told my folks that I'm ace just because, not that I'm afraid, but more so like they won't get it, or my dad will be like, because my dad brags at his bar friends and goes like, my daughter's in the Japanimation stuff, and I feel like he would say something stupid as well to asexuality. So, but I've always hinted like, hey, if we don't have a kid, are you okay if like we adopt or something? And they'd be like, yeah. So I'm like, cool. I don't have to
Oh
say
no, my
anything.
parents
We're
are
sneaking
like,
around it.
my parents are like, we want one kid from every, like we want a grandbaby from each child, and I'm like, well, my brother is also gay, and I'm ace, and have never wanted kids, and my older sister has a kid, but she's my half sister, so I don't know if that counts, but it does. It's dumb. It's dumb.
And so, yeah. We joked around that I was asexual because he mentioned it. And so technically I was ace before it was even a thing. And as I grew up and explored more into social media and looking at what other people are saying, I'm like, that tracks. Even though I'm the kind of asexual that you show me naughty bits and I'll be like, ew. People can be pretty, just don't show me their bits.
They look better with clothes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's natural beauty. Yeah.
And like, I've just come to accept that this is what I am. My mother and father seem very cool with me not wanting to have sex, so here I am today. I would personally love to see more asexuality shown in media. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm rooting for, but here I am now, spreading the word that we are valid and part of the LGBT community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our last person, if they do make it, they might be running a little late, is Nia, who is bisexual and non-binary. So
Ooh, I love
hopefully when
Nia.
they
He's
come
great.
stop by, they
He's
will
fantastic.
introduce and
Went to
talk as
classes
well.
with
But until then, I guess now that we introduced ourselves, does anybody have, like you said, we were talking about representation. Do we have any favorite shows that we like to talk about here that we feel like do represent ourselves that anybody would like to share? Or should we start with Yuri on Ice, actually?
I
Now
feel
that you
like
bring
since you
that up,
brought it up.
Start. You
because I
mentioned
did have
it too
notes and
late.
my
We have
notes
a topic
aren't
now.
my notes aren't freaking opening, so I'm trying to think on the spot. But I believe it was Yuri on Ice that we had boy love stuff before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But I feel like it was Yuri on Ice that kind of broke the
It
mold, with
sort
kind of
broke
allowing.
it into the mainstream a little
Yes.
bit. Where I saw people who just watched anime. They just watched it overall. They didn't like actively seek out anything that was LGBTQ. They did not actively look for any of these things, even romance, and they would be talking about Yuri on Ice. It got huge. And I think that has to do with how well of a romance that it was. I think that it not like pushing any kind of of the big negative things that you see a lot of the time in BL media, which we can get into at a different time. It shows it in such a nice light and shows this romance in a very, very, like, the way that it describes it in the way the skating routines are made is through the love that is shown through the two different Yuris, Yuri and Yurio. Yuri is all about sort of agape love, and Yurio is about eros love. And agape love is this like unending, like down in the deep depths of your heart kind of love, where eros love is that sexual love, where it's like completely different and shown in a different way. And the discussion of love just around it made the show much more deep and into that sort of romanticism that a lot of shows didn't really get into. And a lot of the routines were beautiful. And I see like professional skaters, professional figure skaters eventually ended up doing a lot of these routines. It was fantastic to see.
It's funny because like it's gotten such a big impact, but the only way it was able to show was because from my notes I was seeing the creator was saying that it was sports anime only without mentioning the boy love parts.
Just really skirting around it as much as they could.
But I think because of that, it's because I heard the movie's canceled now.
It is, and I could not be more sad.
You're right. But I think because of that sacrifice and trying to push it to networks so people can see it, now we are starting to get more of a boom of more shows out there.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
they're not even sports anime anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
Where it's like, we can't talk about it. It's not the thing that we can't say that's definitely in the room. It's, this thing is in the room with us and we will discuss it.
Yeah.
And that leads me to sports, because that's why I'm surprised that Marianne doesn't like sports animes.
I sure don't.
So, because I feel like I love sports animes because, again, as an ace, we're seeing that bondness and friendship and that kind of love without having anything else kind of mingling into. Do you not?
But see,
appear?
I love romance fluffy bullshit. Give me all of that. I want that.
So you're okay as long as they don't get too much into the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
We love
But,
fluff bullshit.
Yes. Give me some shoujo bullshit anyway.
I don't know. It's just
any
when
day.
I'm watching normal American baseball, I don't see that cute bondness that we get in like a lot of like.
You've got to look deeper.
IQ or
You
big,
don't see the behind the scenes.
big wind up or.
5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Look in the batter's box, dude.
Okay.
So funny story. We went to go see the Haikyuu movie with a bunch of actors, and
I was dragged along.
dragged along. And by the end of it, it's like, what did you say? It's like, oh, I only looked at my phone twice. I guess it wasn't bad.
No. I tried very hard not to look at my phone because I didn't want to be that person, but I was like, I'm so sorry. I was really bored. I'm so sorry. Like the boys are adorable, but I don't know them and I don't care.
That's also why I find trouble with labeling anything ace and try to, like, again, you don't always need a label, but I feel like sports anime shows a lot of stuff that I feel like I can relate to because, again, there's just a bondness and a friendship that goes in there without having to.
That bond of like teamwork
Teamwork, yeah.
is like huge there, and that leads into friendship. That leads into those sort of familial bonds that
Yeah.
you can sort of get in those sports
Yeah.
shows, where it's not romantic love at all, but it can be this very strong connection, and I think that is very important to show.
Like Sam and Frodo.
Like Sam and
Sam and
Frodo. We were gonna get one Lord of the Rings. Marianne's on the panel.
Yeah.
Are those my twins? Speaking of gay. Actually, yeah, that was always like, that's why I was always confused because I always loved seeing certain anime where I'm just like, oh, they're really cute. But like, I wouldn't date them, you know?
Yeah, we were playing Smasher Pass, and Joshua was one of my roommates, and like all of us were playing Smasher Pass, and I was like, I mean, I don't know, I don't really want to smash any of them. They're just like, I maybe cuddle.
That's so funny because we did the same thing. I played a long D&D campaign, and for shits and giggles, we did Smash or Pass. And everybody's like, yeah, smash, and I'm like, I don't know this guy.
I know that's like, I'm like, I don't know.
We saw him in the
them.
one town, and he gave us a potion, but like I don't really know him. Like,
I'll be
Corinne,
utmostly.
shut up.
I'll be utmostly honest. During that same thing for the roommates, I was foaming at the mouth and screaming at the TV.
He was.
So we're going down different avenues here.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Other than, I'm trying to think of other, there's not really, probably the most ace show I can probably even recommend that is like clearly this is about an ace. Has anybody seen Psyche K?
Psyche
Oh
K.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
For guys who don't know, it's about an alien who lives on Earth, and he's like perfectly fine. He's like telepathic and stuff like that, but he just kind of like just wants to live a normal life. And there's always people crushing on him, but he just doesn't want to deal with it. And he's just like, I like what I like, and that's what I want, you know. He's really into coffee. Like there was a great episode where he's just like, she's bothering me. I want to get the sale on the coffee jelly at the store. But like, yeah. Other than that, I think we were trying to discuss. We were discussing a lot with Bloom Into You and Phil. Like that was kind of maybe the closest, I guess, biggest impact when it came to maybe.
I think of one that like blatantly uses the word asexual.
Right.
I think if there are other ones, I'm not aware of them, but like Bloom Into You is kind of the biggest one that straight up says it. I mean, you could argue there are a lot of characters that are probably asexual. I mean, I'd say
that's the problem. Like a
but
lot
they're
of
not
can argue a lot.
explicitly stated.
They don't
to
say
be.
it.
My problem is we get these isekais, and then we got this one guy, and he's just kind of like, yeah, you can all be my friends, and all these girls want to marry the guy, and he's just like, I'm just happy how we are. Like, part of me always just thinks that's kind of like,
You know, now that you say that, you know who's absolutely ace? Katarina from the Villainous Show.
that is another recommendation, actually, that was on my list. She is totally ace. What is the full title of that one? Katarina?
It is a villainous, all
Vil-
flags lead
yeah,
to doom.
that's
or
when we were
something.
starting the Ultima Games like genre. I think she
Yeah.
was like one of the early first ones. But yeah, Katarina basically gets sucked into a game where she plays the villainess, and she tries to avoid the death flag so she doesn't die or get deserted on an island. And she just kind of befriends everybody and just enjoys cookies and sugar and stuff like that. So
Same, dog.
She gets the harem end, but she's like, oh,
yeah.
the friendship
so
end.
she's
Oh,
like,
that's great.
everything's great, but like everybody's like, I love her, I want to marry her. And she's just got like no clue. She's
Guys
just
and girls,
like-
it's pretty great.
Yeah, guys and girls actually. Yeah, everybody loves
Just
her.
good rep in there.
Yeah. We keep talking about Ace. How about you talk about some shows that you'd like to recommend?
I've been lucky enough in my time doing voice work to be able to not just enjoy, but also work on a lot of shows that have very, very strong and great representation in the gay community. I am not biased, trust me, but I'd heavily recommend Sasaki and Miyano.
It's really cute.
It's really cute. Yeah.
I did Miyano in that show, and it was my favorite things I've ever worked on. Did all of that during my college time in my dorm room, so it was something that I had a lot of time to connect to. Really, like during sort of the COVID pandemic, I was in quarantine. They were opening it up to a lot of remote actors, and that was back when I lived in Ohio, in that sort of country bumpkin town. And it allowed me to connect to something and really have that romantic, beautiful story shown off. I would recommend that as just sort of a really nice romance. I'd recommend one that's airing right now.
Oh yes, talk about the show.
Twilight Out of Focus. Toof. We love Toof. I play Hisashi Otomo in that. I've been having the time of my life with that. I only just got down here, so I've been recording that the past few weeks. So that's been incredible. And I know we need to talk about Given, right?
Yes,
we
Given!
gotta talk about Given. Oh my goodness, Given is fantastic.
Has anybody seen Given in this room? Yeah, good.
Thank
that.
goodness.
If not, you should give it a chance.
It's been nice. I'm leaving. No, I feel like a pattern that I'm seeing in some of the shows that I really enjoy with this rep is in Given, there's such a focus on sort of the music as well, where all of them are in bands, all of them use the music to express their emotions, and same thing that I see in Yuri on Ice, where they're using the skating and the songs that they do to express their emotions.
It's basically
art
yeah,
form.
because sometimes like there's no easy way to say you love someone. You know, you can easily say something like I love you, but there's just
Can
more
you?
to it. Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, you know, through music, like you said, through an art form, through something like that, you know, it's beautiful. Like
It's fantastic. And the new Given movie is going to be coming out in November, I believe,
Yay.
which I'm
You're
so
gonna be super busy.
so incredibly excited for. Are there any people in the crowd that have any shows that they would like to recommend?
Oh, yes, we would love to hear recommendations from
Yeah.
people.
Heaven's
Oh, I've seen that,
Design
yeah.
Team.
Heaven's Design Team is like, it's like heaven, but they're just like, so we gotta design an animal, like it should have a long neck, and like maybe spots, you know? It's like, this thing looks weird, you sure? You're like, God's gonna love it, you know? And it's not just animals, it's a bunch of different things, but yeah. I guess what's the representation in that? It's been a while since I've seen that, but. Oh.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely been a while since I've seen the show, yeah, okay. Oh, okay.
Well, that's fantastic.
Good to know. All right, cool. Thank you.
That reminds me, you said non-binary. Stars Align is heavy, but good. That is a sports ball show, and I did watch it.
You do love
Yeah,
sports,
but
Marianne.
it was less about
Very
the sports and
specific
more
thing.
about the boys. It was about also about soft tennis, whatever that is. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the sport part. It was just like, look at all these lovely boys.
It's to cover it up so they can't talk about it.
Soft
Maybe.
tennis.
I mean, that's what you're gonna expect.
Except that Japan caught on and was like, oh, this is going to be 2 cores, but we're only making it 1 because this is too gay. And there's a character in there that's non-binary, and they actually discuss it. Like they say, they're like, yeah, please call me you. This is how I want to be viewed, and I think this. He talks to his friend about it, and the friend is super respectful. His mother doesn't get it at all, of course. There's a lot of like parental trauma. I will warn you if you want to watch Stars Align. There's a lot of that. So it's a lot of like watching this and going, but like it's really good. And there needs to be more. Season 1 ended on a cliffhanger, and they'll probably never make more of it, and it makes me really sad.
You can always read it. Read the
You could
manga.
always read it.
It's an original.
Oh.
Well,
There's no
Well,
source
darn.
material.
are there any shows that you'd like to recommend?
I'm going to get the stick of shame.
Oh, don't worry.
I
You
don't
also just
watch-
jumped on this panel, so
Yeah,
like,
of
we kind
course.
of discussed
We
a
had
handful
prep
of
time.
these.
Listen,
Yeah.
we need more representation.
We do.
Yes.
Oh, yes, for sure.
But
What do you mean we're starring in every isekai? I just explained that.
As the guy who's having a fun time.
Come on, most of those people are just like, I'm just happy to fix this world and do whatever I want. I mean, Rimuru at this point is pretty much ace too.
Yeah.
From slime.
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird because, I do, whenever they call me in, voice work with Crunchyroll. But I don't watch a whole lot of anime.
And you don't have to. That's
And I don't have
Not a
to.
requirement.
yeah, that's not a
However, I
requirement.
have seen just a couple of cute shows that have nothing to do with relationships, romantic relationships. They're just cute.
We will say at Crunchyroll these days the directors will hint that it does maybe somewhat help if you check out the trailer or something like that.
Yeah.
But as an actor, you're not required to absorb all the information of the show you
Correct.
are doing. Or, I mean, you could study up on the character if you book the character and go like, okay, like, I'm fitting this rep, but like, what's their personality? What's their likes, their dislikes?
Are they
and
secretly a
stuff.
cat?
Are they secretly a cat?
That's a big one. Happens all the time.
Look, I've had one.
Can we think of any bad?
Bad rep.
Citrus.
Citrus.
Maybe explain why, so if people don't know what
Okay,
citrus
so
is.
this is a good sort of, I feel like, segue into a common trope that I see in a lot of like
Oh, the thing we
LGBT
talked about?
anime.
Okay.
Is like the issue that I have with Citrus is like it should be a cute romance, but one of the girls is way super pushy, and it like forces the other girl into like sexual situations when she's not ready for them. And like I feel like that can occur. I've seen that in several shows before.
It's a common trope that is unfortunately in a lot of BL as well, where it's like somebody who obviously isn't wanting to be a part of something is pushed into a situation that they don't want to be a part of. It's not all the time explicit. It's not all the time of that kind of level, but
Yeah.
a lot of the time it doesn't come off as very comfortable for both parties.
Or like blackmail too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like very not like comfortable aspects of it
Yeah.
where if it's on the level of something like teasing, which is very common,
Yeah.
it's usually just fine, but it doesn't usually stop there.
Which is funny because a lot of people back in the day, like what was it, Nagatoro or something like that. People were all over her because she like the whole concept is like she's teasing the shit out of this guy. But it's just when you actually like watch it, so it's just playful teasing.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
it's playful
as opposed
teasing.
to just like like the stuff we talked about. Like Blooming to You, we were going like, oh, this is great rep. But there are times where I think Toko is
Because
that.
the main girl is, I think that I will say this is also a minor qualm of mine is it seems like in a lot of media they don't and it's fine for people to be both asexual and aromantic, that is not uncommon, but it feels like a lot of media leaves out the word aromantic and just calls the whole thing asexual, which leads to false understanding of what it means to be asexual, because they'll be like, oh, this person doesn't want a relationship, they're asexual, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not what that means actually.
Aromantic.
Yeah,
completely different.
and Blooming to You says that, and I know
That is-
she because they just call her Ace, and she is, I think she's both, but like,
I think they leave it open because I think the whole show is supposed to be open, and that's why they say it. But
Yeah.
because at the end of the anime, I haven't finished the manga, but at the end of the anime, they don't. They stay friends. So
Yeah.
I think it's left to open to interpretation on like if she can go that route or not.
Yeah.
So it's not really labeling. It's more just like she's still figuring herself out, and that's the whole point. Is self-discovery.
it's true.
Yeah.
But on the lines of the like sort of forcing people into it, the girl that could be her love interest.
I think it's Toko.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I think it's Toko,
But
yeah.
she's very pushy, and she's like, hey, why don't we just try making out? And she's like, I don't know about
And there's
that.
just parts where she's just like, okay, you can kiss me. And they're kissing, and she's just like, okay, are we done? Like,
Yeah.
I guess it gets worse for me is just like when she's trying to express her actual true self. And then she tells you just like, don't date anybody else. Don't love anybody else. You have to be with me.
Yeah.
And all you is just like, okay. Because like she's like, I just want to support you, and if this is supporting you, cool. But then she realizes, no, I think I'm trapping myself in something that I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
But they later figure that out. And again, the whole show I feel like is more about self-discovery than actually putting the label of ace. on
Yeah,
it.
that's fair.
Yeah. Which I feel like a lot of shows just kind of either just put the label or just like, because that's the whole point, right? The whole point is like we just want to just figure out who we are, but like maybe not just put a name to it right away, because things can change. You know,
Yeah.
you might be thinking something this way, and then, oh, I'm into girls now. Okay.
Which is
like-
fine.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And it's such a common theme in shows like this, where it's like a coming of age sort of story, or like you're figuring yourself out, and that's such an intrinsic part to like finding out your own identity. We all had our own stories about how we found it out, and being able to see different ways of finding that out through the medium of anime, I think is really beautiful.
Yeah. I don't think Nia's gonna make it. I have no idea where they are, or they might be lost.
No. New
Okay,
hotel, new
we're gonna
problems.
open it up to questions now. Maybe if anybody has any interest about like, I don't know, how one applies to maybe voice act for representation, or if anybody has any stories they would like to share about their self-discovery, or any shows that they would like to recommend as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one that looks like a goes where she don't remember their name, but it's like a drag queen, almost guaranteed. But because they died and come back, they came back and how they wanted to. And there's another character who's very feminine, but then there's a comet that makes them dude dressed up as a woman. And it's just kind of funky, and I like that. It's just sneaking in there and showing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
One Piece does it too. One Piece has a nice mix of really bad representation and then really good later on. I think Oda went, oh, maybe the island full of, we'll call them drag queens. Maybe that wasn't the best transgender rep we could
It
have
was
done
early
here.
on.
But then later we get Kiku, and she's a trans woman, and she's great. The Yamato stuff is more iffy, but like that's
Yamato, I feel like he did on purpose, just like they could be whatever, and then everybody started fighting.
yeah.
You choose, and it's like no.
No, Oda.
Unique choice.
No.
Tell us who they are now. That was a mess. Yeah, I think like
Great.
when the
It was.
casting came out, because like Michelle does great, but I think a lot of people were still back and forth on like, is this okay? Like, are they?
Well, Michelle's non-binary,
Right,
Which I
but-
feel like is a good, safe choice for that,
That is
character.
true, yeah.
But like, it's yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Yamato is a theoretically trans man, except that their character is only trans because they want to be a guy. They're like, I want to be this person, and this person is male, therefore I am male. So it's very iffy of like, are they actually a trans dude, or is it just a role-playing thing?
Hence the openness where.
Yeah, and then and they've been featured in a lot of like, here are all the women, and here's Yamato, and we're like, is that
And
right?
yeah, while we can't discuss certain audition processing with that, it was very hectic with that.
It sure was.
for sure.
I bet it was.
But then, later on, there's a scene where they're like, "We're going to the baths," and Yamato's like,
Yeah.
gotta go with the men because I'm a man."
Man, yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, well, then that's kind of the answer." But then, you still have Sanji, the pervert character, who's like, "I love him," but he's like, "Boobs," and you're like, "Man,
Massive nosebleed, he faints.
yeah, like, come on, like this is." And if you are treating this character seriously, and then like Kiku is in the women's bath. And nobody says anything weird about that, and
Yeah.
it's nothing's like, and that's fine. But then, One Piece is messy. I love it, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
Also, Luffy is ace. Oh,
Actually,
yeah. I do.
Oh, we see that all over the
Marianne
place.
wanted to bring this, like, can I bring up about Luffy? I'm like, yeah, you can talk
You
about
definitely
whatever.
get to
Like,
talk about Luffy,
Luffy
because
is
it's
like
real.
the most asexual, aromantic
Definitely,
character
yeah.
I've ever seen. To the point where there's a character whose power is turning people to stone because of how much they like her and how into her they are. It does not work on him.
Because he's just chilling.
He's just like, oh, okay. And she's like, using my heart powers. It's like, you see me, you think I'm hot, so you, like, and everyone does. Everyone thinks she's hot. Even the girls who are straight, they're like, no, yeah, that's a beautiful woman. Oh my God. And Luffy's like, huh. I'm like, you are so ace. You are so ace.
You gonna eat that?
Right.
It just looks like a plate of meat. It's just like oh gosh.
Yeah.
Any other questions or recommendations? Yes.
Back there.
I've only seen a little bit of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Hey, agender.
What was this called?
I feel bad. Yeah, I put it on my backlog, but
See, that
Put
just
it
makes
on my
me.
backlog
it's-
now.
different kind of artists trying to find themselves. Like said, that there's a VTuber that's going through. There's a singer that's like she quit like a band and she's trying to find her. It's like a bunch of different.
Oh, okay.
We didn't pick it up, unfortunately.
See,
but-
that was making me think of like Princess Jellyfish, which also has a
I
character.
love Princess Jellyfish,
Which also has a
yeah.
character who is like technically a guy, but he cross dresses a
That's
lot.
true,
and, like,
yeah.
I think technically that character could fall into certainly like gender non-conforming.
Honestly, like I was gonna do a slideshow and I was talking about it, but then I was like, I have lists upon lists, and
Oh.
I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
we'd just be here for eons
That'd be a
on how
long
much
slideshow.
to recommend. So if we are leaving out anybody's favorite shows or
We
something like
we
that,
super are.
we apologize.
Oh yeah.
You got one back here?
What was the show? Oh yeah, I
Band
love.
Cry.
So we sadly did not get this because it's based in. They only wanted to keep it to Japan. So, but it's Girls Band Cry is
God, I
basically.
wish we got this
I'm
so
actually.
bad.
So if people follow me, I'm a YouTuber. I do adaptation covers, and I'm actually working on one of their songs
working on a
right
Girls Band
now.
Cry cover?
Yeah. So
that's gonna be
it's
awesome.
very good. It's just again, it's about also self-discovery, but also just like this one girl wanted to play music and then they were like, "Oh, your band gets to join an idol group. You get to be an idol." And she's like, "I don't want to do that bullshit. I want to do my own thing."
Oh.
And then she makes a choice, and she needs to, and she kind of like wonders if she made the wrong choice and stuff like that. And then there's another girl who's out of the boonies. You know, she wants to create music and stuff. And then they kind of form a band, and they're just constantly yelling and disagreeing. And it's not for the faint of heart because it could be very like anxiety driven. But if you really love the messiness of trying to make your own band and trying to get into the industry and just expressing yourself, then it's a great freaking show.
Bocce the Rock? I'm kidding.
This one's more hardcore
Oh,
than
really?
Bocce
For
Rock.
sure. Oh,
But the
for
only
sure.
problem is you gotta pirate it.
We've got one in the back over here.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've been really lucky recently to have a lot of those BL comics and GL comics. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been incredibly lucky lately with the representation we've been able to get through anime, but there's such a wide world of manga and comics and so much that you can explore that are really, really great representation that just haven't had the chance to come into an anime format, which, fingers crossed, because of the recent sort of boom in things, we'll be able to see more and more and more of. I know for a fact that it's been much more common nowadays where we've seen shows that are adapted from these mangas, and they're more widely accepted and more widely made. And I'm excited to see which ones are going to be coming next, because we just got Cherry Magic and Twilight Out of Focus in the same season.
I need to watch that.
And both of them are really fun. And we have another question over here.
So I just want to know about your opinion in general. I don't know if it's necessarily a gay anime, but it's kind of like queer baiting in a way. What about Nana?
Oh, Nana. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Nana should have been a girl's love, and then it
Yeah.
wasn't because they had trashy men instead.
Yeah.
I feel like she was trying to do the self-discovery route, but it
Attempting.
kind of just got a little muddled
Yeah.
bit. But she's done. She's not writing anymore, unfortunately. Nana's like basically dead at this point, so we're never gonna get it finished.
Yeah.
So I was
Also
actually
ended on
rewatching
a-
that. I was rewatching that with Alex, and I was like, oh my god.
Also ended on a
Really?
mega downer.
Yeah.
Like a downer.
Wow, Nana. Yeah. Fuck.
But I mean, to be fair, you're talking about sports animes. So many sports animes are queer baiting. Like so many of them.
Yeah.
Just a
Like
lot.
very few of them are actually like canonically.
Big Windup was my favorite with the whole pitcher and catcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they actually?
I'm not gonna lie. Like between Greg Ayers and the guy who played, who's the voice actor who plays Koenma in Yu Yu Hakusho? Was those two guys,
Yeah.
and they have the cutesiest voices, and it's like, it's okay, man. You're gonna do great. It's like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, oh my god, I hope they get married soon.
Now kiss.
Entirely fair. Entirely
We only dubbed the first season too. There's another season, but yeah, that's the only baseball anime I really liked.
Let's go baseball.
Sports ball.
Isn't that what's happening out there?
Yeah, that is.
Oh,
what's happening
yeah.
out there. We have baseball anime happening outside. Back over there.
So, I have two songs. One is like The Wandering Sun,
The Wandering Sun.
I've heard of that. I haven't seen it.
Oh.
Watch this one.
the trans experience, and a lot of the trauma.
Oh, that
Yeah,
one.
I have heard of
Okay.
this. Yeah, yeah. I saw a YouTuber talk very in depth about it, and I was kind of like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's.
And the other one, which will hopefully come out later this year, we release 7
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was the other one?
Ranma one
Ranma
half.
one
Oh, Rama. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Can't wait for that to come out.
that's fantastic. I'm very excited for that one.
I'm a little if with the color palette because I feel like they loved so much on Urehatse Yatsure. I think that's what it's called. They're like, it works for that show. I don't know if it works for Ranma, but that just might be my pickiness.
I sort of like
I
it.
don't know. Well, because they like Urazi's like space and shit. I don't know, but that's a nitpicky thing. But no,
think
those
it's
are good recommendations.
Incredible Rex.
I did remember Wandering Sun being maybe a little triggering because there's a lot of characters that are just kind of like, what the hell are you doing? So that's the only thing I would just, if you do check that out, just be careful with that. But yeah.
We've got a lot
Thank
of
you
really
for the
fantastic
recommendations, yeah.
shows.
Do you have one?
Yeah, how do y'all feel, so I have two of them.
Uh-huh.
So, how do y'all feel about Krona from Soul Eater?
Krona from Soul Eater.
Yeah, like, she's the one, Medusa, it's her kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in high school watching it and being like, oh, is that a girl or a boy?
It's been forever since I've seen Soul Eater.
It's
Androgynous.
On like the wiki, it says like, oh, in Japan, I think I can't remember, but like Japan, like it's a girl and then English dub, it's a boy or something. And then
Oh.
I think I just googled it right now and they said genderless, like agender.
Yeah, I think that's more of a recent thing that they've done where it's someone that's been taken in by sort of the non-binary community as well, where it's like they have the same thing happened with like, if I'm gonna go off on a Paper Mario tangent at the anime panel, but the recent Paper Mario game had a character named Vivian.
Oh yeah.
Where
Oh, yeah, that's right.
they were in the Japanese original context were a trans woman, and when they got ported over for the original release in America, they were like scrubbed of all of that, and they re-released it very recently
For the Switch, yeah.
for the Switch, and they added back in that translation and made that canonically the thing. And we find that a lot of the times in this sort of like translating it over, especially when it's like we have one version here and one version here, whatever reason that might have been, we have a lot of people that we get attached to as the LGBT community, where it's like there's no answer here, but for Krona specifically, it's a character that I feel very attached to. I love them.
I remember being in high school and like that was like my first experience in media of a character like that.
Where they just don't have it.
And I
Yeah.
remember being confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, again, that was like my first experience with that, and I was like, why is there so many like different opinions about it?
Well, that's why representation is so important, I think, where it's like you see these things like non-binary people or genderless people or agender people, and you don't see them often. You don't get the opportunity to learn about these people because they're not shown to people. We are only knowledgeable about what we either seek out or what is shown to us. So if we're not shown stuff, we have to actively go out of our way to find representation in something.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, I mean, with the one going back to the One Piece thing with like Yamato, for instance, why people cling to them a lot, like because that character, a lot of people, especially like trans guys, are like, no, this is a trans man, like guaranteed, like canon. I'm like, it's not specifically, but like also, I'm not going to take that away from anybody.
Yeah.
Like if that's how you see that character, awesome. Great. If you see representation in that character, that's great.
At first, I thought stuff like that was a bit aggressive, though, because there was one time where Frank Oz was talking about Bert and Ernie. And then he was just talking about, like, yeah, it was literally me and Jim just writing about us. And we're good friends. And right away, people were attacking him and going, like,
No, they're gay.
You can't take this away from us. And it's just like, he's not. He's stating what he wrote.
Yeah, you can still have-
He made the characters. But then I realized it's like, okay, no, it's not about that. It's just about you can make something and leave it open to interpretation. But I guess just don't aggressively just say that it is yours.
Well, it's sort of the like. I think it's okay. Basically, I think it's okay to have headcanons.
Okay.
And that's totally fine as long as you're not like, no, you're wrong. And that's why there's discourse. With
Yeah.
So
So
fun-
he's just
Thanks.
writing. He's like, no, it's just me and my buddy Jim. And he's just like, shut up, Frank Oz. You don't know anything. And I'm like, what the hell?
A really funny thing about that situation is I think they've been canonically confirmed gay very recently, Bert and Ernie.
I think there was another article that recently said they had this writer and he was writing. For
Yeah,
that.
this-
It's just
it wasn't
originally they were just like
originally.
they're just best. And again, there's nothing wrong with them either being
It's-
best friends or
Yeah.
or
It's-
gay.
it's
yeah.
something nice to
It's just
see
I don't think that
they
needs
were
to be
roommates.
automatically just like this is mine. It's.
I mean, that's how I feel about the Sam and Frodo stuff too, where I'm like, no, they're just bros, but people are like, no, they're gay, and I'm like, if you want it to be that way,
Yeah.
that Sure.
Because that's the whole point. If we don't like something, we write a fanfic or something about it.
Fanfics are so good. I've read so many good fanfics,
And then we put
man.
ourselves in it and we make it better, right?
We've got somebody in the back there.
I only heard half of that, to be honest.
Is it possible for you to speak up just a little bit?
Or maybe come closer so we can hear you better. Yeah. I heard Gundam and then I was like, what? What's that?
Oh, a lot of Gundam tropes.
Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. I will say, like, I got into Gundam Mercury because I was just interested in the dynamic with that, but like Gundam, I was always kind of put off just because it's like politics, robots, and like
Yeah,
I know that's
same.
dumbing it down, but
Politics, robots, explosions.
like, yeah.
Oh, there's Nia.
Oh, Nia, you made it.
10 minutes to go. Come
You
up
can
here.
talk for a few more minutes. Now we got some time. Grab that mic on the end.
Over here.
Actually, no, you could share. We could share. Hi.
I see how it is. I see how it is.
Here's our last guest of the panel.
Hi, I'm Mia Celeste, and I'm egregiously late because parking was abysmal.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. It's real bad, man.
We parked 20 minutes away and walked 20 minutes.
This is why this is
I
a
was
one-year
fighting to the death
contract.
with somebody who almost kissed my car, but like with the car.
With the car?
With the car. So
gosh.
it would have been a little bad.
That's not the kind of yaoi we want.
It's not the kind of yaoi we want at all.
Talking about car representation.
Introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mia Celeste. I've been in shows such as Vampire Dormitory, Free Rent, one more, A Journey Through Another World. I'm bisexual and as well as non-binary. I've been doing voiceover for more than a year, and I'm very excited to express my gender identity as I go along.
Yay! So we kind of went mostly through everything, but since we did a lot of talking, we can hear your side if you have. I mean, I know you just rushed here, so it's like,
Yeah.
please name all your favorite gay animes.
All of my favorite too.
But yes, if there's something you'd like to share, or actually no, what was your? Do you, if you want to?
Yeah.
Was there something that you saw or something in your life that made you discover the representation that you have right now? If you don't have to share it. But if
Yeah,
there's
no.
This,
At first, I was really confused as to the purpose of Haruhi from Ouran High School Host Club.
Yay.
And then I understood what she was there for, because I so badly wanted to just be her, but in the guy way. And then I kind of grew up and I realized, oh, that's being trans. That makes sense. So the more I watched shows with like some representation, I just kept on growing closer and latching onto them. And then Vampire Dormitory came along, and it was an absolute paradise of being a girl, pretending to be a guy, but also pretending to be a girl, and her gender being, I don't know. And I was just like, oh my God, same.
Do you have any other shows that you would recommend for people? I guess for your representation, if there's any.
I would honestly say Given.
We talked about Given.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go
I
give
would
it.
like
Talk about more Given. Yeah, we love.
Listen,
Given.
we can always talk about Given.
I recommend it from my friend who's insanely into Given, and I know that he would be yelling into my ear, please mention Given, so I have to say that for him.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
About what?
Sakura trip.
I have heard of it.
Inside Sakura trip.
Sakura Trip? I've never
Trick.
heard of it. Trick. Never heard of it.
I feel like I usually watch a whole bunch of anime, but
She's the queen weed.
they're like, hey,
But-
Corinne, you want to recommend something? Well,
I've seen a lot. She's seen everything except
Yeah.
except
Not
apparently for
everything,
soccer
but
a
yeah.
trick.
Unfortunately, would you like to explain to us soccer trick? So nobody knows it. Okay. Ah, yes. Okay.
The other problem with Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we should get into that discussion. Do we think that Japan is improving when it comes to expressing representation and getting away from maybe fetishy kind of or certain tropes?
Yes and
I
no.
agree.
Yes and
Yeah,
no.
no, I was about to say the same thing. I'm like, yes, no.
Yes and no.
Maybe.
I saw a lot of
Sometimes.
hands up that also want to voice their opinion. on
Sometimes,
that. What's yours
yes.
in the red. Okay.
Because when you consider that Precure
Oh, Precure, yeah.
in 2015, up until Precure had a definitely gay male couple.
Mm-hmm.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
The very first male Precure.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
That is amazing that there has been like a lot of like we talk about like the future and stuff, but there was a lot of stuff that was ahead of its time.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
We've started to see that sort of boom in representation a lot more recently, but there is so many good examples, like we mentioned Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
And Precure, like you said. Like,
Oh, they're cousins.
yes.
That's America's fault.
But they were brave enough to like to mention things like
Yeah.
that, you know. Like, I was surprised like that because I mentioned Tokyo Godfather to you.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was surprised
Tokyo
that you never
Godfather
saw
so-
it.
you haven't
I
seen
want. I
Tokyo
know. I
Godfather?
need to.
Oh,
I
you
want to.
So we watch it every
Every day.
either no, every day.
Every single
either,
day.
either for Christmas or New Year's, we kind of me and
Fair.
Alex always watch. It's one of our favorite Satoshi Kon films.
Is it a Christmas movie?
It does take place during
It
Christmas.
does.
Yeah.
It's like very
Die
wintry.
Hard.
Yeah.
So that makes me think of we're talking about like anime I need to watch, and we like the roommates were like shows we need to watch. I'm like, I want to rewatch Steins Gate. Steins Gate has a bad, well, good bad. There's a character in there who is a trans girl, but the thing is, they didn't have the language for that, so it's played off as a joke, as
Yeah.
like she really wants to just be like an actual girl, but the other characters are like, you know, oh, if only because like, you know, whatever. It's and there's like a story plot line where she does become a girl and then has to like undo it, and it's like really, I don't know. It's from that standpoint, I will say Japan is getting better because they do actually now sometimes put in characters who are trans and go, the characters are trans, instead of making just a joke about like, I think we don't get as many, though we still do some, we don't get the traps in anime, which is so, ugh.
Right.
Like this character is a cute girl, actually they're a boy, and it's like, or they could
That's
just
true.
be a trans girl, but like, I don't know.
I think it's because like we are discussing now, it's like there's words to put to these things.
Yes.
So there's more information out there, and they're realizing that too, and they're trying to incorporate that more. And I think they are improving slowly, but I
Yeah.
think they are improving.
Yeah.
I think
So.
what's that one anime called? Senpai is an Ultimoko.
Oh, yeah!
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
that's a really good step in the right direction, at least from the clips that I've seen on Twitter, because I am not good at watching anime anymore. I've seen like one clip that was really, really heartwarming, and I just went, wow, I need to watch this. And then 3 weeks later, I still haven't watched it, so you can tell where I'm going with that.
Right.
I think we had a question back there.
Oh, it was just a comment on the idea of like, is Japan getting more accepting? I think it's as the younger generation's getting better. Like, I used to teach English over there, and there was a day they were talking about Elton John. And the teacher told me, it was like, but you know the weird thing about Elton John, Mary? No, I don't. What is it? He's gay.
Like,
Silence as like.
He's gay.
yeah?
Okay.
We knew that.
I think I was aware.
In the classroom, like after clubs or whatever. It's just like.
I'm like,
But then you've also got shows now like there's a live action drama called like The Full-Time Life Escapist, where they do have it makes a lot of commentary about different types of relationships and what's healthy, what's toxic, what's a good idea, when to break something off. But they do have a gay character who at first is represented as kind of your typical trope joke kind of character. But then it's a couple episodes in, it's like, oh no, we're actually gonna break this down. Why does
That's fantastic.
There's a lot of shows starting to kind of get into that nuance of like, no, but for real, why are we treating you?
I think that's the line that we have to tread sometimes when this media does come out, where it's like there's so much media that just depicts this as a joke.
Yeah.
And that's never fun to see. Like, this is people's lives, this is people's livelihoods, this is how they live. And people being able to go into things like that, like you mentioned, and really dig deep into the why and dig deep into sort of the personal experience of it, I think that's really lovely. I think we had someone right here.
That was a weird show. I can't even tell you what that show is.
Tell that they're obviously a couple, but they don't like make it like the stereotypical lesbians.
That's the thing about relationships now too. Like, I think we all grew up thinking it's like, okay, you got to get married at this age, you got to have kids at this age, blah blah blah.
Life's
it's
different
like,
for everybody,
now
dog.
It's just like we can just be, we can just do whatever
Everything's
we want,
expensive.
you know. And we need to just kind of understand that freedom, you know. Like, again, like, respect your parents if they do respect you in a sense, but just like, yeah, you can do what you want, you know. Be you, like.
Yeah. You're not carbon copies of your parents.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
I kind of am a carbon copy of my mom a little bit. It's okay though. It's a little.
I think we have time for maybe one
Time
more
for one
question
more question.
out there.
Otherwise, we're pretty
Anybody?
much done. One more comment.
Nope. Okay.
Yusuf, do you have a comment? No. What's that?
Oh, Mr. Two.
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Two.
Two.
Bon Clay. Bon Clay is so
Bon
good.
Clay.
He's the best. I love.
What?
Tell your
Tell your dumb husband.
Find him. Bring him here.
The room right now.
We will fight you.
tell him he is wrong.
For you.
For you.
For you.
Okay, babe, here's notes. So.
Wait, I'm so confused. Wait, what's happening on Art 10? Can you just give me the notes
All right,
again?
well, it looks like time's up, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the panel.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'd like to thank the panelists here, too. This is my first time attempting a panel like this.
You did great.
and I had a lot of fun talking about this with you guys, so thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Be gay, do crimes.
If anybody's interested, I have a booth. I have a lot of fun things to autograph. I guess I didn't say what I do. I play Momonosuke from One Piece. I'm in Fire Force Overlord. I'm in Aphmau, if anybody knows what the heck that is. I'll be in the dealer's room signing stuff all weekend. So,
Heyo.
yeah.